In this video, I will give you the exact agency acquisition process I'm going to use to scale past 100K per month. You can just copy and paste the process no matter if you are at 0, 5K, or already beyond 10K a month. The acquisition process did not only work for me, but for 104 agencies I've worked with in the past year. So there's absolutely no way of not signing a single client if you just copy and paste what worked for so many agencies already. Let's dive into it. So the whole acquisition strategy splits into two parts. First of all, the marketing, so turning people into leads, and the sales part, so converting leads into paying clients. So in the first step, we need to turn people into leads. Means we need to approach cold people and convince them to hop on a sales meeting with you. In order to do so, I'm going to show you the LinkedIn Loom strategy that I've used for the last couple of years and also all the mentorship clients I've worked with use. Right? In order to make it work, it's really important to have an optimized and specific profile. If you have a random profile, it won't work. So step number one is to set the profile up like this, right? This is the German profile I've used in the last years. And we basically want to tell them what we do in the head banner. So we say something like 12.2 qualified appointments per month for real estate companies. Then we want to also add something about the niche in the head banner. And we also want to repeat our offer here in the bio. So we want to be super specific about what we do for which niche and which results they get from it. Then another small detail, you also want to set the location to the location that you do outreach in. I do the main outreach in Germany, but if you are based in the US and you want to approach people in the UK, then make sure that the location is set to UK. Otherwise, less people will accept your connection. After the profile is optimized, the next step is to find people on LinkedIn, which we can then message and then book in a call. So the second step is to go to the search bar and type in CEO and niche. So we want to type in the keyword for the position, for example, CEO, founder, co-founder, or owner, and then the keyword for the niche, right? So solar, real estate, driving schools, whatever you want to go for. It's super important to use the exact combination of these two keywords because LinkedIn always looks for this as the keyword for the position and these for the niche, right? Also super important to add the and in between in order to make this work properly. The better option would be Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator basically is the premium version of LinkedIn. And here you are able to find much more people and you can filter down much more, right? So if you get Sales Navigator, it costs $100 per month, roughly. You can type in a keyword in the search bar. You don't need to filter for CEOs. You can just type in the keyword for the niche. And then you see there are more than 2 million results just for like the solar keyword. And on the left side, you then have multiple options to filter down the results because we never want to work with 2 million plus people. We want to filter it down so much that we have enough qualified people to reach out to. So what we do here is we want to, first of all, set up the company headcount. So we want to set this to below 50 to 100 employees because we don't want to work with companies with more than 100 employees. We want to also set up the job title to CEO, founder, co-founder, and owner, so that you not get like the managers, but you only get like the CEOs, founders, and co-founders with the results. You can also set up how long they should be in the company, and if you target people who are just starting out, you can also set up that their business is only running for 3 months, 6 months, or less than a year. And if you want to make sure that people are actually active on LinkedIn, you can also toggle on this one, which means that you only get results from people who have posted on LinkedIn, right? So you want to filter this down until you have between like 50 and 100,000 results. And then we can start to reach out to them and connect with them. So step number 2 is find the right people. And I just showed you 2 methods on how to do this. In this next step, we want to connect with all the people, right? So it will looks like this. It will give you the option to connect with them. You want to click on connect. Then we want to send a connection without a message. If you haven't used LinkedIn yet, you basically first of all need to connect to all the people. So you need to send them a friend request. And only after they accepted it, you can then send them a message. It's really important that in this step, we only connect with them without sending a message. And we just wait for them to accept our connection. In the next step, we want to then reach out to them. So this is the message that I've used and that booked me all the appointments that I currently book. Right, so hello name, thanks for connecting. I've just recorded a quick video analysis of your current social media presence. There I also show you how we help. Then we insert our offer. Do you want me to send over the video free of charge and with no obligation? So with this message, we basically promise them something for free. We tell them a reason why we give it to them for free. And we also tell them that the video is already there and they just have to claim it. And because of these 3 factors, a lot of people will actually request the video because they are curious to see what you have recorded. And they also feel like that they need to request it and they need to watch it since they believe it's already there and is already recorded. All right. So in the first step, we just hope for people to reply to this message and say, yeah, perfect, please send me over the video. Of course, you do not record the video just yet. You just wait until they have replied, and after they have replied and they want to see the video, we then send them the video. And there are 2 things that can now happen at this stage, right? They either say, yes, send me over the video, or they say no, or they do not respond at all. So if they do not respond at all, we want to follow up. And in this strategy, the follow-ups are crucial because many people will only see your message or reply to your message after 3 to 5 follow-ups. So I recommend you to first of all follow up on LinkedIn and just ask them again, hey, do you want me to send over the video? If again, there's no reply or I don't even see the message, then you can also follow up on email and you can also call them because now it's not a cold lead anymore. Now you're already connected to them. You send them a message and you are just following up on something you already sent. Right? So follow up often enough in order to get a reply. If they say yes to the video at one point, we then want to record a short 2 to 3 minute Loom video. Right? And this is the structure that I've used over the last years. We first of all want to introduce ourselves and we want to tell them our VPH, so our offer. This should take roughly 15 seconds. So my name is Jonas, I'm the founder of Agency Name and we help niche to achieve certain results with our system. In the second stage, we want to do the free value part. So we want to analyze their business, we want to analyze their website, their social media presence, or whatever makes sense connected to our offer. And we want to just give them some free value and some free tips, right? This is like delivering on the promise that we made inside the message. So for the next 2 or 3 minutes, you just tell them, hey, I'm looking at your website right now. I see that you're doing X. I would improve X and change X to Y. The free value and analysis should be tailored to whatever you offer. So if you, for example, offer web design, then you should do a website analysis. If you offer ads, you could do like analysis of their current ads or their current social media presence. So make sure to tailor it around whatever you offer. Afterwards, we want to do a transition. Takes roughly 10 seconds. Where we say, hey, I've noticed that currently you get all your leads from X, which is really unreliable. So we want to find something that we can use to transition into our pitch. After we did this, we then do the mini pitch. So we tell them, we have a system called Offer Name where we help niche achieve certain results. It works in 3 steps, 1 to 3. We just do a really quick pitch. We never ever tell them the price. We just tell them what this is about and which results they can get and which problems we solve. And at the end, we just do a small call to action. So if you would like, we can hop on a call and I can show you exactly how to implement this. That's all for the video. It shouldn't be longer than 3 to 4 minutes. After you send the video, again, there are 2 things that can happen. They either book a call and you achieve the goal of the stage, or they ignore the video or do not reply at all. If they do not reply at all, then again, you have to do a lot of follow-ups in order to make them watch the video and make them reply and get them to book a call. So here again, you should follow up 3 to 4 times on LinkedIn and 1 to 2 times on mail and also call them because at this stage, they are a super hot lead because they engaged with you, they wanted to see the video and you know for sure that they have a problem. So at this stage, it's all about following up often enough in order to get them to book the call. And if you follow the exact process I just showed you, then these are the numbers you should hit. So when starting out, I would start with 150 connections per week. You can scale it up a lot in the future, but in the beginning, I would start slow to avoid bans. 40 to 50% of them should accept your connection if your profile is optimized. Out of those, roughly 5 to 10% request a video. And from all the videos you send, roughly 2 or 3 should book a call. And at this point, it's super important to track your numbers as well. Because if you exactly know how many connections you sent, how many people accept it, how many people request videos, and how many people book a call, we can then start to optimize based on the data. So if you, for example, see that only 10% accept your connection, then there's something wrong about your profile and you have to work on it again. If you see that only 5 or like 3% request a video, then there's either something wrong about the first line of the message at all, the pitch, or the follow-ups that you do. If less than 20 to 30 to 40% book a call from all the videos you sent, then there's something wrong about the video, the call to action, or that you're not following up often enough. Right? So make sure to track the data and optimize based on that. And now we basically achieved the goal of this stage. So we turned people into leads and we hopefully book between 10 or 15 calls per week now. The second step is to now convert those leads into clients. And this is the second part of the whole equation, because now we want to make sure that the people we booked into calls pay us and we can actually scale our business to 5, 10, 100K a month. So after they book the appointment and before the sales meeting does actually happen, we first of all want to show them a pre-call video. Inside the pre-call video, we want to make sure that they understand clearly what the call is about, and we also want to pre-handle the most common objection. So the most common objections usually are that they are not ready to pay a lot of money upfront, or that they don't understand where the costs come from. So in the pre-call video, we want to make sure that they already understand what the call is about, that they trust us, and also pre-handle the most common objection. You can say something like, I want to be upfront, our offer has an upfront cost, and it's necessary in order to reach X. Right? After they watch the pre-call video, there first of all should be reminder emails to remind them of the call, because if you don't send reminder emails, people will forget about the call and people will be a no-show, so people won't show up to the appointment. And you also want to send creative emails where you introduce yourself, you show them some social proof, you show them some testimonials, and you also, again, tell them what the call will be about, so there's no uncertainty. If you implement these three things, at least 70 to 80 people who you book into an appointment should actually show up to the appointment. And then we want to do a 2-call process. So we want to have 2 different calls in order to close them. The first call is called the discovery call. Essentially, you can do both parts in one call if you want, but this is what I've been using and what worked for me and the other agencies I've worked with. So in the first call, we want to do a discovery part. And the discovery part is also the part where the sale is made. Because here you ask questions in a way that they understand that they have a big problem and they need to change something. We don't want to convince them, we just want to hold a mirror in front of them so they understand that they need to change something about their current situation. So the quality of your questions is crucial. And now I'm just going to give you the process and the questions that you can just copy and paste in order to close 50, 60, 70% of your deals. So in the first stage, we want to frame the call. This is important because if you don't frame the call, they will take control over the call and it will be really hard to close them. So you can say something like, hey, this call is super simple. I will ask you some questions to understand your situation, goals, and challenges better. We only ever make an offer if we are 100% sure that we can get you real results. If yes, we will show you how it works and make an offer. Cool? Then you wait until they say yes, and then you move on. In the first stage, I like to ask the facts. So I like to understand more about the size of the company, how many decision makers there are, and how long they are in business. Just to get a better overview over the business and to start the call with some, soft questions. After I got a better overview, we have to dive into the goal state, where we ask about where they want to go. So what is the end goal with their business, right? Where exactly do they want to be? Like, how much money do they want to make? What is like the goal in terms of getting leads, getting appointments? What is like the monthly recurring revenue goal, the yearly goal? And ask questions about goals that are relevant to your product and offer. Right? So if you help them to get more leads, you should ask about like the goal in terms of revenue. You always want to push for specific numbers. So many people will tell you, hey, the goal in terms of revenue is as much as possible. That's not enough. We want to go for specific numbers so that we get a really, really good overview over the situation. For example, hey, from 5 to 50 new clients per month. Then we also want to figure out why exactly this goal is important to them. Because if they give you a specific number, there must be something behind it. There must be a reason why they choose this specific number. And if we discover this reason behind it, we can use it in order to close them at the end. Because people always make decisions based on emotions and justify with logic. And we can use the reason why they want to achieve the goal in order to let them make the decision based on emotions. After you got a pretty good overview over the goal state, you don't want to spend too much time here. We want to dive into the current state. And the reason why we do this in this order is, first of all, we want them to talk about something they like the goals they have and like the pretty future. And then we want to make them drop the impulse and bring them back to the harsh reality. So to the current situation, to the current state where they have all the problems that they currently face. And here you want to figure out everything about what they currently do. So where are they right now? How many leads do they get? How many appointments do they book? How many new clients they get? How much revenue they make? How many employees there are? And everything. You want to get a full overview over everything, over all the data, and over how much money they make, so that you can truly understand what the problem is. All right? Then you also need to understand which strategies they use. So how do they currently get leads? How do they get clients? What is the closing strategy? And everything that is relevant to your offer. This is important because you don't want to ask for things that are not even relevant to your product. So just ask for things that are relevant to whatever you offer. If you offer lead generation, ask for things that are relevant for like getting clients, generating leads, and booking appointments. And you also want to get an overview over what one client or deal is worth for them. After you got a pretty good overview over the current state, we then dive into the problem, the root cause, and the pain. And this is where you want to spend the most time because this is where the sale is actually made. So we want to say something like, hey, now we both know where you are and we both know where you want to go. But what is actually holding you back from getting there? So we want to be curious and we want to actually try to understand what the problem in their opinion is. There are two things that can happen now. Either they are aware of the problem, they will tell you, hey, the problem is this, this, and this. Or they are unaware and they don't even know what the problem is in the first place. So we want to dig deeper. We want to find out what their problem is, what they believe their problem is, and also make sure that the problem is the real problem, and just use the things I told you before to validate the problem, right? If they tell you, for example, hey, the problem is that we do not have enough leads, but they told you that they have enough leads, then there's something wrong. So we have to like dig deeper and ask about it. After we figured out what the main problem is, so what the obvious problem is, for example, not having enough clients or not having enough leads, we want to figure out what the root cause is. And the root cause is the thing that's behind the problem. So why does the problem show up in the first place? For example, the problem could be not having enough clients. The root cause could be that they don't have systems in place, that they just rely on referrals, which is really unreliable, and there's no system in place in order to get them new clients or new leads. That's, for example, the root cause. And then we also want to dive into the pain. So what is the symptom of the problem? How does the problem impact them personally and also on the business side? Right? So you can ask questions, hey, where does the problem show up? How long do you have the problem? Does it cause stress in life or business? And how does it impact revenue, the team, and the mindset? You want to spend most of the time here because this is what makes the sale. You want to let them talk about their problem so much that they understand that they need to change something urgently, right? And again, you always want to be honest and transparent. We never want to try to manipulate them or so. We just want to figure out what the problem is and make them realize that they have a problem, because it's our job to help them solve the problem. And in order to solve the problem, they need to make the decision to change something. And this can only happen if they understand how big the problem actually is. After we spend a lot of time here, you should spend between like 5, 10, 15 minutes here. It depends a bit on the call. But then we want to dive into the opportunity costs. And this one is really important because here we want to summarize what they just told us and quantify it with a number. So we tell them, hey, right now you get 5 new clients per month. Your goal is 10, each worth 5K, right? Perfect. So you're missing out on 25K per month because of this problem, right? So make them see what it's costing them to not solve the problem. We just want to use all the data that we got, and we want to calculate how much money there is in the gap. So how much money there is between where they are right now and where they want to go. Because this is the money that they currently lose because of having the problem. So we want to show them everything. Like we want to lay everything on the table at this stage so they understand what the problem is worth. Because if they truly understand and agree on that the problem is worth 25K a month, they are more than happy to pay you 2K a month to solve the problem. Because not doing anything about it costs them 25K a month. You see, this is like what we want to achieve here. After they agreed on it and after they understood what's worth, we then want to pre-handle some objections. Because after you pitch them, it's really hard to pre-handle all the objections. We want to make sure that we ask the questions already so that there are no objections left at the end. And one of the most common objections you will get is something like, yeah, I've tried something similar before, it haven't worked, so I won't go for it again. So we want to figure out what have they tried before to solve the problem. So we just asked them, hey, have you ever tried like other agencies? Have you ever tried Facebook ads, website building, whatever to solve the problem before? If yes, you want to find out how it went. If it went good, you want to figure out why they stopped doing it. If it went bad, you want to figure out what happened. Because if it went bad and it is the same thing that you are trying to sell them, then they won't sign up for it because it already went bad in the past. So we want to figure out what went bad, and we want to make them understand that this won't happen in the future again. So we want to get clarity on all the numbers, on all the data from the campaigns, on if they've tried it on their own, if they've tried it with an agency, and make them understand and realize what the problem was back then. So we actually want to discover the problem together with them. And then we want to help them to understand that this won't happen in the future. And we only move forward after they said, okay, I now understand what the problem was back then. I'm pretty sure that next time this won't happen again. If they have tried nothing before, you have to be even more careful. Because if they haven't tried anything else before to solve the problem, there's something holding them back from making the decision. So we want to figure out what's holding them back and want to make sure that they are now ready to make a decision. All right, so you can also ask them, hey, what changed now? So why do you feel like now is the right moment to invest into something to solve the problem? The next one is the buying criteria. In the next stage, we want to make sure that we know exactly what they look for when it comes down to solving the problem and what it comes down to when buying a solution. So we want to pretty openly just ask them, hey, when looking for a solution like this, what's really important to you? For example, the price, the speed, the reliability, the quality of leads, and stuff like that. Because we want to use these things to tailor our demo presentation even more so they see that this is the perfect solution for them. We never ever want to lie. We just want to show them that this is the best thing for them. Then we want to get commitment. This is super, super important at the end of the call, and this can make or break the deal, right? So we want to ask them something, hey, if what we show you makes sense, is this something you would start immediately, or is there any other priority for you right now? Because if there is something holding you back from making the decision, we want to discover it now. Because if they tell you at the end of the pitch, yeah, I will be on holidays for the next 2 weeks, let's start afterwards, you just lost the deal. So make sure to figure out and get clarity on if it's the right time to start. If no, ask questions so they understand that it's the right time to start now. Right? We don't want to be satisfied with, yeah, let's start in a year or so. We want to keep pushing and hold them accountable to that they need to change something now in order to stop losing the money that they currently lose. Right? So don't ever move on without getting commitment at this stage. In the last step, we just want to summarize it. So, hey, right now you're at X, you want to get to Y, the problem is ABC, it's been going on for Z months, costing you X amount of money, is that correct? And in the truly last step, we then want to sell them on the methodology. So we want to give them 1 minute of free value, and we want to just consult them on what they should do. But while doing it, we already sell them on the method that we are going to sell them with our offer in the next call. So we say something like, no matter if you work with us or not, what you really need is, first of all, a repeatable way to get qualified leads per month, a process to qualify them without spending more time, and a system to book them directly into your calendar so you can just close them. Do you agree? And then we want to make sure that they agree on this, because if they do not agree on this, then they also won't buy your system, because this is basically a breakdown of your system. But if they agree, you basically already made the sale, because now they confirmed that this is exactly what they need. And guess what? This is exactly what we're going to show them in the next step, because this is what our system is all about. So if they agree here, we can just move on and show them our demo, or we can hop on the next call. And I always recommend you to do this in 2 calls, especially if you sell a high-ticket product. So at the end of the discovery call, we want to also book the demo call, the second call. We always want to make sure that they book the call immediately. So never leave a meeting without having the next meeting booked. And in between the discovery call and the demo call, where we're actually going to close them, you should send, again, reminder emails so they show up to the call and do not forget about it. And we also want to send some creative emails with some more social proof, testimonials, and also telling them what the next call will be about. And in the demo call, we want to walk them through a presentation where we show them how the system works, why it's the best fit for them, and how much it costs, and close them at the end. And now I'm just going to show you all the demo slides that I personally use in my agency to close all the deals. So on the first slide, we want to tell them the offer name, what our offer, agency, and system is called. On the second slide, we want to tell them the VPH. So we help niche achieve X results, getting rid of X using our system. On the third slide, we want to tell them the 3-step breakdown, to break down how our system works so they understand what happens throughout the journey. Then we want to show them the process, so the what. We never want to show them the how. We never want to tell them how we do it and how we get them leads. We only want to tell them what happens in order to achieve the result. For example, in the first step, this happens. In the second step, this happens. In the third step, this happens. We can either visualize this with images, screenshots, or some objects, or you can also do a live demo of your system at this stage. Then we want to tell them some benefits. Then we want to show them all the problems we solve. If you do a 2-call close, you can just copy and paste the problems they told you in the first call onto this slide. So it actually feels super, super tailored for them, and they think that this is the best option for their case. Then we want to show them some case studies or any kind of proof. If you don't have case studies yet, you can just show them any kind of proof you have that you're legit. So any degrees you have related to the offer that you have, how much time you spent building it, how many clients you've worked with, stuff like that. Then we want to ask them which questions they have. And at this stage, we want to make sure that they ask all the questions they have. Before we dive into the pitch, everything must be clear. And the only question they have left should be, what does it cost? And then we go to the last slide where we show them the full offer. So everything they get and the price. And after the price, we just shut up. So we just wait until they say something. We never ever say something until they say something. And then there are two things that can happen. They either close immediately or they have an objection and you need to try to handle the objection. All right? In order to handle the objection, make sure to use the things they told you before and ask questions again. So they understand that it's completely irrational and there's no reason to not move on with you. If they are not happy with the price, so if they either don't have the money or they are scared to invest the money, there are three things you can do. And this is what I call the pricing options and what closed me the most money. You first of all want to show them the retainer. So you first of all want to show them the real price, whatever it costs, for example, $2,000 a month. If they say no, you want to try to handle all the objections. If they are still not happy with it, you can downsell them to a lower retainer with a performance fee. For example, $1,000 a month plus 100 per appointment or whatever makes sense with your system. Because now the offer is less risky, so it's easier for them to say yes because they pay less money per month and they only pay the rest after they got results. If they keep saying no, you can go down to 0 per month and a super high performance fee, for example, 30% rev share. The goal here is it to anchor them to the first price, get them to sign up on either the first, the second option, at least on the last option, because with these pricing options, we can basically close every single client. Because if they say no 2 times before, they will at least sign up on the last option because it's a no-brainer. They cannot lose money. They only make money and pay you after they made money. And if they take the last option, you can still turn them into a retainer client after 2 or 3 months. Since after 3 months, the 30% rev share will be way more expensive than $2,000 a month. So you basically sign every single client you hop on a call with. And after 2 or 3 months, you can then also return them into a retainer client and get the full money. All right, this is a super powerful system I've discovered and I've used, and it works phenomenal. So make sure to implement this. The last thing, if they say yes and they want to join on either like the first, the second, or the third package, we need to make sure that they close and show commitment on the call. Because if they tell you, I will pay the money, I will do the things after the call, they won't. They will just try to hop off the call in order to get out of the situation. So what we need to do is we need to close and get commitment from them on the call. So the first thing we are trying to do is to get them to pay the invoice. So we want to send them a Stripe link or whatever software you use and wait inside the call until they've paid the invoice. If they are hesitant to pay the invoice, that's fine because some companies just are not able to pay the invoice on the call because of like the legal things. You want to at least get them to sign the contracts. So if they say no, you send them the contracts you already prepared on the call and let them sign the contracts because again, then they are legally committed to work with you. If they again say no, usually you missed an objection and they won't close at all, but you can still try to get them to accept the proposal. So you can have a written proposal prepared, which you just send them and you let them accept it. All right? Here they show the most commitment, here they show a bit less, and here they show the least commitment. So at this stage, usually you missed an objection because if they don't want to pay the invoice or sign the contracts, there's something that they're like still hesitant about, but at least try to accept the proposal. If they're not willing to do this either, then you need to book a follow-up call, but make sure to take a deposit. So to tell them, hey, we can book a follow-up call for tomorrow at the same time. The only thing you have to do is you have to pay a deposit of $50 or $100 in order to make the call tomorrow happen. If you then tomorrow tell me you don't want to buy our system, then I will just refund you the deposit. The deposit is only there to make sure you show up to tomorrow's call. Because if they want to book a follow-up call, usually they don't show up to the follow-up call. So make sure they pay a deposit so there's a reason to show up to the call. Right? And this is basically everything you ever need to implement in order to make a lot of money, right? Because with the first system, the marketing system, we now attract cold people and turn them into leads, into interested people. And with the sales part, we convert those interested people into paying clients. And this is like a loop, and you can repeat it until you scale to $100K a month. If you now want me to help you implement these things, so to help you get more leads, so book between like 15 and 20 calls per week, and also close more clients and hit 10, 15, 20K a month, like I already did with 104 agencies already, then just check out the link below this video where you can watch a free demo video on how the mentorship works. And I hopefully see you inside soon. Bye bye.